day 1 of putting my life back together, and I've deleted all social media off my phone, and I have purposely not read anything today, and I'm about to lose a 167-day reading streak. I didn't think that would be the bit that hurts. It has been a long old summer break, but it is fall, it is autumn, it is the burr months, and we are back. Hi besties, I'm Annie, and it is time to reset for October, which means we get to talk about everything that I have been doing while I have been on my summer break. We get to talk about everything that I have been reading, but you know there's been too many books for me to just talk about everything I've been reading, so we'll keep it to the good ones. We'll keep it to the juicy details of the 4 and 5 stars. We've got to get a new bullet journal set up. You know we have to do all the things to get us ready for this new month, so let's just get straight into it. Okay, let's have a quick chat on where I have been this summer. Honestly, it's been a long summer break, but it's been a very needed summer break, honestly. I have been feeling the burnout. I have been feeling the pressure from so many angles where there's just too many things to get done and not enough hours in a day to get them done. And it just kind of got a little bit overwhelming, and so I've taken a step back from a whole bunch of things in my life, and now I'm kind of starting to get back into my groove, get back into the things that I really love, and bidding out the things that don't really serve me anymore. That has been my absolute mantra. That has been my absolute goal for this past summer, is get rid of all the things that do not serve me and get back into the things that I love, that I adore, that feed my soul. And reading, YouTube, journaling, all of that is staying. My bullet journal this summer has been a pure function journal. Like, she has not been anything apart from let's just get stuff done. Like, this is function, not beauty, but it has literally been my lifeline through this period of trying to just like figure out what it is that really adds value to my life, and also working through all of my backlog of tasks that I've had and all the things that have just been like waiting to get done and haven't gotten done because there's just been so much other stuff clogging up my brain and my life that there hasn't been any time and space to do the things that I need to do and the things that I want to do. One of those big things that has been in the need to do, want to do, but haven't actually gotten around to doing has been writing a new novel. I think I kind of mentioned this a little bit ad hoc on other socials like Instagram and TikTok, but I have been writing a new book this year. I am so excited for it. I can't wait to be able to tell you guys more about it. It is just not ready. It is not ready to be out into the world just yet. It probably won't be for a hot minute. But what I can tell you is that it is a fantasy romance heavily inspired by some of my favourite sports romances, as well as set in this beautiful fantasy world where there's dragons and all sorts of wonderful mythical creatures. You know there's going to be angst, you know there's going to be tension, you know there is going to be an absolutely wonderful romance storyline in it, but it is all set in a fantasy world because why escape reality to anything other than fantasy? I've had so much fun writing it. I've been working on this all year, but realistically, this has really been like my mental safe space, and I really noticed where I wasn't writing and wasn't in this world, I did notice that I didn't have the same like excitement for life as when I was writing, and I have such a deep connection to this story already, and it is not finished yet. I am absolutely loving being back in the writing space, so that is something that will be continuing, and I am planning on getting that first draft finished very soon, where I will then be able to tell you guys a little bit more. Not too much, but just a little bit. But shall we get into some of the books that I have been reading? I cannot remember when we last caught up, besties. So let's just go from June, because as far as I'm concerned, that is the beginning of summer. And honestly, I've just looked through my reading journal on this, and that's so sad that June, my birthday month of all things, did not get a 4 or 5 star. That is tragic. Which just tells you where my head was at, because I was DNFing books left, right and centre. Nothing was making it over a 3 star. And I think that was really my main indicator as to like, girly pop, it's time to take a step back. You just need to pause for a second. Let's talk about where things got good. And honestly, that was with an arc from Lainey Lawson, which was Up in Smoke, which is the latest one in her series, The Bunkhouse, I believe. This was so good. Honestly, this whole series has been like a little bit crazy, silly, stupid. I remember reading the first one and then like getting about halfway through and being like, what is this? This is not what I signed up for. I'm not really here for this. And then I read the second one and I was like, I know it's gonna get crazy silly halfway through. So I'm just like along for the ride, and I had such a fun time with it. And this one was literally the best of the series. Absolutely obsessed, love it, 5-star. Go read it, go read the series if you haven't already. So good. I think I did post a little TikTok about this and I was like so excited to talk about this book. I accidentally spelled her name wrong, like, oh, as if you couldn't tell that Bestie was on a break. But we then read Starlight Mates by G. Bailey, which I gave 4.5 stars. And the first one literally was like no spice at all. So I went straight into the second one, which I rated 4 stars. And then I have paused before finishing the series because I'm not really a binge kind of girly. I don't binge books very well. I think because like I then get too invested in it and I'm then like bored of it like halfway through a book. So I was like, no, I'm gonna pause before reading the third one. We will get back to that one day. These were so good and they were really addictive and like really quick to read. I think they were like very much along the lines of other things I've read, but I was glad that it didn't like stick exactly to the same formula of other things that I've read. So I think the biggest comparison to this series is The Bonds That Tie by J. Bree. Like there was so many things where I was like, is this not the same book? And then there was so many things where I was like, it kind of starts to go along the same line and then like takes left turn. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness, because I really loved the first two in the Bonds That Tie series and then I couldn't get on board of it. I'm sorry, I just did. Then I read Fruits Basket Volume 5 and a very good friend of mine who basically solely reads manga. She's so fun, she's so cool. She has lent me the entire original print of the Fruits Basket series. She's like, protect these babies for their life, and I'm like, don't worry bestie, I will. So I read Volume 5. This was so quick for me to get through. I think it literally took me like maybe an hour and a half to just like quick spin through because 1, I read super quickly. 2, I was actually pausing to look at this art. I think this is like so interesting. This is the only manga I've ever read. I am loving it. I am obsessed with it. I was reading the new print edition. I think they're the collector's edition prints, but she's lent me all of this. It literally goes all the way up to 23 and then there's like a fan book at the end. I don't know what's going on. This is gonna take me a while to get through, but I promised her I would protect these with my life. But I am loving this series. It is so good. Then we've got Tusk Love by Thea Guanzon. I have absolutely loved the Hurricane Wars series by her, and as soon as I saw that this was written by her, I was like, no, give me, zero hesitation. I don't need to know anything else. Give it to me because Thea's written it. And also it is a critical role book, so if you've seen any of the stuff, if you've seen some of I think they're now gonna do the second campaign as an anime on Amazon Prime, and I'm so excited for that. I cannot wait for that to come out. But I've seen everything at the moment that is on the anime from campaign 1. I started listening to the podcast of campaign 1. I started listening to the podcast of campaign 2. But honestly, it's so easy for me to get behind. I'm not a huge like podcasty person, so it's really quick and easy for me to get behind. I haven't really seen anything from campaign 3. But campaign 4 is about to start in October, and I've kind of made it my personal mission that I want to get on that because it's a very different style of play. But this is kind of, it's not even like really a spin-off. From my understanding, and like I said, I didn't watch the whole of campaign 2 where this kind of sits with everything, so they might be characters that turn up, I don't know, but I think they are characters that one of our main campaign characters knows, and it's just their story, and it's so cute and short and sweet. I think it is 269 pages. This was so quick, so super cute. And also I did get the special edition cover where the dust jacket is reversible. We have this beautiful artwork from Jester, who is the main character in the campaign. So super fun. I absolutely love it. If you're looking for something that's just like a cute fun read that's kind of short but like is really action-packed and addictive, and the way that Theo writes this is so wonderful. I love this. This was so good. Then we've got Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. I read this as part of a Fable book club. I believe this was Tori Between Pages book club. I love Elise Kova's writing. I have a couple of her other books up here. I've read a whole bunch of her stuff on Kindle Unlimited. I love the way she writes. It's just like so familiar in a sense of, even if you've not read it before, like you just feel like your best friend is telling you the story. You feel like your best friend is the narrator, even when it's written in first person. There is something about the way that she writes her narrative characters that just really makes you feel like you've been friends with them for ages. This was so good, and like the magic system in this is centered around tarot cards, and I love stuff like that. Like it's so unique, it's so incredible. I'm like, oh my god, give me more. I cannot wait for the next one in this series. I think that is just like the theme of my summer, is I cannot wait for the next one in this series. Not as if I don't have enough series already ongoing as it is. But we're gonna wait for the next one in the series with bated breath, okay? This is currently the top runner for my book of the year. If I could give this 6, 7, 8 stars, I would, because this was so incredible. I was hooked from page 1. There was not an ounce of this that I wasn't eating up. I don't know what else I can say about this other than, oh my god, please go read it. And I really, really hope that you enjoy it as much as I did, because this was an incredible experience to read. Can we tell I was reading quite a few new releases this year? We've got Shield of Sparrows by Devoney Perry. I've read nothing else by Devoney Perry up to this point. I believe this is her fantasy debut. Not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. I was eating this up. This is another 600 odd page chonker. Like, this is not small, okay? I absolutely loved it. The first bit of this was a little bit slower, granted. It's a little bit more like Princess Goes to a Foreign Kingdom to like fulfill her princessy duty. Oh my god, I gagged. And I was reading this as part of a book club again on Fable. I believe this was Poppy's book club pick, and I left so many comments, and there was one bit, and I love putting in the comments on the Fable book clubs, honestly, and I don't always wait to the end of a chapter to put them in. So there was one bit I remember, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. No, there is absolutely no way. And then I replied to my own comment. I was like, no, I read the next paragraph. All is fine. And like so many people put like the laughing emoji as the reaction to that comment, because like you could tell I was so invested in that moment. I was like, oh my god, I need to tell someone about this. But the one thing I really love about Fable book clubs is that you don't get spoilers. Like, you can just go to the chapter that you're at and read like to that bit, and like you don't have to read spoilers for anything further than what you've read. Like, I think it's so good. And this book was incredible as well. This was a 5-star without hesitation. And the last 2 books we have to talk about is Zodiac Academy book 2, which is Ruthless Fae. I read book 1 and I think I gave it about 3.5 stars, but book 2 was a 4-star. I think just because we get the extra point of views, we get so much more context to things, we get so much more in-depth knowledge about the characters and like what they know, what they feel, what they're experiencing. Not just our main 2, Darcy and Tori. We're getting a wider range of narrative characters, which I absolutely love. I really love so many elements that were in this, so much more than the first book. I think there's certain things that I didn't like in the first book that this book kind of started to address, and I said in my review on Fable, because I use Fable as my primary platform these days, I said in my little written wrap up of like, I feel like this has so much more to give, and I feel like this series will only get better. And honestly, book 2 is already proving that. This is a huge series and I am buddy reading it with a friend, so I'm slowly working my way through this. This book really proved that this has so much more yet to give and so much more to expand on and work through, and I'm so excited to continue this series. And lastly, we have Wings So Wicked by Emily Blackwood. This was a very recent read for me, and honestly, I did give this a 4 stars. This was a good one. I think like the first bit of this, I was like very eye-rolly. I was like, oh my god, like, are you kidding? We're doing this again. Like, this kind of narrative, this kind of story, this kind of setting, like, oh, for goodness sake, like, can we not think of something more original? And then as it kind of really started to settle into this academy setting and like the differences really started to kind of shine through, I was like, okay, maybe I judged you a little too harshly, maybe I judged you a little too quickly. Am I kind of eating this up? Maybe? I wasn't like fully convinced. I was like, I'll eat because, you know, you've given me a plate stuffed full of food. Like, I'll eat because it's in front of me, not necessarily because I'm like hungry. And then as I started kind of like getting into this and like when things really kicked off, and I'm not gonna give you guys any spoilers, I did really enjoy myself. Like, as things really kick in towards the end, this plate of food, like, I was going back for seconds. I was scarfing this down. Like, this was really good. I did like really speed through the second section of this. There was a massive twist at the end. This is a duology, so I do want to finish this pretty soon. There was a massive twist at the end that I was like, excuse me, I did not see that coming. Where did this come from? I don't know, but I had a good time reading it. So that was all of the 4 and 5-star reads, because you know I'm not going to go through absolutely every single one because we will be here for way too long. But we do need to talk about the bullet journal. I did set up with my brand new mood board. I do have a new background on my computer screen. That is something I really enjoyed doing for the summer. I don't think you guys really saw it, but I basically took my big mood board and I made it into a desktop background, but I kind of like reorganized it, and there's a little quote on there which I did add into the bottom corner here, which which reads that creativity is the defeat of habit by originality, which is something that I was really trying to implement through the summer, which is like really focusing on the creativity side of things. And it's something that I just want to keep rolling with because I love being creative in all sorts of different ways. There's a lot of things on here. This is like 80 odd Pinterest pictures. We don't need to talk about that. We've got Hello Autumn with a couple more pictures, just like really focusing on stuff I want to get done this October. So we've got some like some nice reading bits, some video creation bits because we are back on YouTube, besties. We've got my cup of tea because your girlie cannot live without a cup of Yorkshire tea. Don't come and argue with me. There is no one. There is no one and nothing in this world that convinced me that there is anything better than Yorkshire tea. We've got some fun little crafting things on here. I really want to do some pottery painting at some point. I think that would be so much fun. Want to get back into some embroidery, want to continue making my own clothes, and then we've got a few other things around here. And then we've just gone for like some cute little ghosts this month. And then we've just kept the simple layout for the weeklies because this has really been working for me. And where I'm still in the process of getting myself in a really, really good place, like so much better place than I was at the start of the summer. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, maybe we just keep this really beautiful, really simple. It's not even beautiful. It is just simple. It is functional. But now we've got some little designs down in the corner because we can have a little bit of beauty with our function. So we've got a few little designs down in the corners. And then that is literally it for the bullet journal setup. She's here to do a job, okay? And she's here to help my mental health. It's the primary focus. But we also need to pick a TBR because I am currently in the middle of reading Court of the Dead by Rick Riordan and Mark Oshiro. I read book 1 of this kind of Nico D'Angelo and Will Solis spin-off series. Whenever it came out last, I was obsessed. I was literally like sobbing, crying. Not sobbing, crying just yet. I'm only on chapter 6 though, so there is a lot of scope to be sobbing, crying just yet. But I have this beautiful sprayed edge edition and I absolutely love the maps on the inner covers. This is just so stunning. I absolutely love it. And also the hardback is a beautiful neon orange. And I really appreciate that because I'm so sick of all of my hardbacks just being plain Jane, boring black. I hate it. I'm not here for it. What else do we have? So that's probably going to continue on into the first few days of October because we are right at the end of September when I'm recording this because I'm trying to be an organized girly. Okay, in terms of book clubs, I have House of Flame and Shadow to reread. This is technically a reread for me. For everyone else, this is a first read. I've actually picked this up on audiobook because look, it's a busy month for me. We are going to be reading this until the end of the year. So this is going to be staying on the TBR cart because we try and read about 200 to 250 pages in a 3-ish week gap just to make it amenable to everyone's lives because we're all busy people in our besties book club. We are reading this. The 3 of us are having an absolute wonderful time reading this. Well, 2 of us are having a wonderful time reading this series. One of us is not having such a great time, but is struggle busting through, which is fair. This is a chunky series. It is not for everyone. So I will not begrudge you for your opinion on this series. Okay, I'm gonna read this one on audiobook because I'm a busy girly and I got stuff to do and we got lots of other books to read, okay? Now I think I said in last week's video that we have more jars. We have 3 jars total now, okay? Whoa. And I'm dropping them because I only have 2 hands. So this might have been a mild oversight. We still have the Love Potion main TBR jar, which when you pull out prompt, this is your, nearly break everything. This is your typical TBR jar. So for example, this one says young adult novel. So this is your typical prompts, right? For the TBRs. That has always been this Love Potion jar. We then have these 2 jars. This one has been around for a little minute. This is my Read It or Unhaul It jar. And then we have this new jar. This is my continuing series jar. I only printed all of these prompts out like maybe a week and a half ago. This is already not up to date. Don't come for me, okay? This one will probably be always a little bit behind. But for example, we have Shield of Sparrows by Devoney Perry. So there are some in here that like we can't continue on because I've just read book 1 and book 2 isn't out yet and I think is it April? I want to say April 2026 this comes out. So in an instance where we pick a book where, or pick a series where book 2 isn't out yet, it goes back in the jar and we pull again. But if the book is out and I don't own it, I have to go buy it. So there are some rules around these jars that we can probably unpack at a later date. but we do need to pick some prompts. So I think if we do a read it and unhaul it, a continuing series, and then 3 regular TBR, I feel like that will be a good set for the month. Let's start with a continuing series prompt, and because these are all printed out on nice paper, because it's like really stiff paper, you have to like give it a really good shake. So let's do that. The only problem is with this jar, I can't really get my hand in super easily. We have the Dream Harbor series by Laurie Gilmore. So this one has a bit of a caveat to it because I have the Christmas one here, which I haven't read, but it's the Christmas one. So I don't want to read it now because it's not Christmas. I wanted to read it last Christmas and I didn't get there. So I'm gonna save this one for the festive period. But the newest one, which is the Gingerbread Bakery, is out. So I'm now gonna have to pick that one up on Kindle. Added to basket, we will deal with buying her in a hot minute. This now has to go back because this is an unfinished series. So we will come back to her another day. Let's do a read it or unhaul it. Let's figure out what is going on with this. This is the jar that I hate pulling from because there's a reason so many of these books are on this list, because I'm like putting them off because there's so many new releases constantly coming out that I'm like, I just want to read new books. I don't want to read books that I've had on my shelf for who knows how long. We've got Spiral by Bal Cabra. Yeah, this is a book I have been putting off. I don't know why, because I really enjoyed book 1 of this series. I don't know why I've been putting this off. I've not really been in a huge contemporary mood. Of course, typically the first 2 books we pull are contemporary. I've not been in a contemporary mood, and yet here we are. So I will pop the little tab in here because we are giving all books 2 goes. So if I don't read it this month, then it will go back on the TBR cart. We will pop a little 1 onto the token and then we'll pop it back in the jar. And if I pull it again and I don't read it, it's gotta go because it's already had its 2 strikes. So it's 2 strikes and you're, oh no, it's 2 strikes, then you're out. If it has 2 little strikes on it and then I pull it again and I still don't read it, then it's out. But it essentially, it gets a couple of goes because the mood reading hits and sometimes it's just not the vibe. But we will pop her on the cart as well. And then we go back to our OG jar. I don't know how long I've had this jar, but it still smells so incredible. The candle that was in here was amazing. I think I've said this for as long as I've had this jar, and I think I've had this jar for a couple of years now, like as a TBR jar, and there have been so many things in and out of this, like my little fingies pulling prompts, but I have loved this jar since the first day. Ooh, we have a debut novel. This is not gonna be easy. All right, we are gonna go with the Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. This is a super recent purchase, but it is a debut, and I've heard some good things about this. It sounds so super fun. I mean, I think it is still set in a fantasy world. She is a STEM lady, but I've heard some good things about this and it sounds absolutely hilarious and amazing, so we will go with it. I'm gonna keep this prompt out for a minute just so that I don't pull it again because that would be really annoying, but let's go for 2 more from this jar. We have a pink cover. I totally could have waited for the Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy for this because that is a pink book. You know, maybe we should pick a Kindle book to kind of to balance out everything that's on physical read. So we're gonna go with Thrown in the Dark, but let's add that to library. It is pink, it is fantasy, it is 351 pages, so it should be a nice quick little read. So we'll roll with that one. And then let's grab our last prompt and see what we're working with. Yay, we have a romantasy. Could the TBR jar have been any nicer to me today? Probably not. So we've got Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is due to come out towards the beginning of October. I think it's like the 7th or something, which I have been desperately wanting to read, and I really cannot wait because I've loved pretty much everything that Ali Hazelwood has written so far that I've read. I might wait for that to come out and then we'll pop that on here because I'm so excited about that. And the only other one that I think that I'm like, oh my god, I cannot wait to read is the second to Blood of Hercules. I think it's Bond of Hercules, but I think it comes out like towards the end of October. I don't really want to be like trying to squeeze it in the last few days, especially because I've got I think it's got a special edition. I think I've got the special edition arriving. It's not even gonna like arrive on release day, it's gonna arrive after release day. And I don't want to be like trying to squeeze it in like the last day of October because that would just stress me out too much. So we'll go with Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which I will pre-order in a moment. so that we get her delivered. So as a recap, we have House of Flame and Shadow, which we're going to do on audiobook for book club. We've also got Zodiac Academy book 3, which we'll be doing on book club. I forgot about that. I'm buddy reading that with a friend, and we are slowly working our way through, where she's currently doing the tandem read of Throne of Glass. We'll probably get to that at some point in the month. I don't know at what point we'll be starting that. But we've also got Zodiac Academy book 3 on book club. We got Court of the Dead by Uncle Rick and Mark Oshiro, which I am partway through, but we'll probably continue into October. We've got The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. We've got Spiral. We've got The Gingerbread Bakery. We've got Mate. And then, what was that last one that we had? Throne in the Dark. So much for me building a short TBR, huh? Some things don't change. This is gonna be a very packed month. If I read all of these, I will honestly be surprised at myself. I'm just saying. Oh, I never make my life easy, do I? I was like, oh, I'm having such a great summer, making my life really easy, and I'm only like reading what I want to read when I want to read it. And I binned my reading streak to like help my mental health. And yet here we are with a massive TBR straight out the gate. Of course we are. Would I do anything else? Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me today to reset for the month. It's been a little bit more of like a recap of everything that's been going on rather than like a usual full-on reset like we would usually do, but that's fine. Give you girly 5 minutes to get back into the swing of things, alrighty? But do let me know in the comments down below, like, what are you reading this for? Are any of these books on your TBR? Have you read them? What did you think of them? Come chat to me, but don't give me any spoilers, okay? We're not here for spoilers. None of us are here for spoilers. Let's be nice and be respectful of everyone in the comments. Be respectful of everyone in your book clubs, and don't give out spoilers when they're not wanted, because that is literally like my pet peeve. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you are here at this point in the video, pop a little sparkling star emoji down in the comments. Let me know that you guys are absolutely loving these videos just as much as I love and appreciate all of your support. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you have an absolutely amazing Cozy Chaos day and that your next read is a 5-star. I'll see you next time. Bye!